Good morning, everybody. Good morning, it's me, Mitch. Been watching Kelsey this morning. Wrapping up right on time. Interesting guest this morning. If you happen to be struggling with diabetes, but watch them wave goodbye. Watch them wave goodbye, everybody, and that's it. And they are gone. And back over to me. Showed off a little leg this morning. If those news anchor babes on Fox News can do it, by God, so can I. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. And as usual, drink it if you got it, while we wait for the crowd to migrate over here from Kiltz's house. Today we're sporting a friendly reminder about the beneficial and wonderful laxative effects of a cup of coffee in the morning. Here they come. See the number rolling up. 57 of you now. Great, great, great. All the usual suspects. That's for sure. All right. Let's give the band a little time off, and we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Wow, Wednesday morning, hump day. Excuse me. I'm settling into this early morning routine. It's been a few weeks now, and I really like it. I really like it. I wake up at 5 o'clock. I set my alarm now for 5 o'clock. Seeing as I have an early live stream, I don't want to, and it very rarely ever happens that I sleep later than that, but go figure it. I would. But I wake up before the alarm. I look at the clock and I say, oh, do I really want to hear that annoying alarm or just shut it off? And I get up. And this morning was a couple minutes before 5, and sure enough, right on time. Got up, go through my morning routine, mix my electrolyte mix to hydrate first thing in the morning. I think that's important. Before coffee, hydrate. Get a head start, because I'm going to finish this before the end of the day. 40 ounces. Then I make my coffee. I put the coffee in a coffee maker. Make enough to have 3 cups. Well, 3 cheat cups. They're really bigger than a cup, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. After the coffee's ready, it's getting to be about 10 minutes to 6. I mix up my leucine coffee and head out on my back porch first thing in the morning. It's very quiet and peaceful out there. Turn on the TV just in time to see Alia, Kelsey, and Dr. Nelson's smiling face. And I watched that outside till about 20 minutes to 7. I already set up my studio before I go outside. So this is sitting there ready to go. And it gives me about 15 minutes to come in, make my second cup of coffee, which is carrying my iodine, my 2 drops of Lugol's, settle down, last minute bathroom, and sit down, turn on the lights, put on the headphones, and I've got about 3 minutes left. And I watch the end of Kiltsy's stream. Get ready for this, and it's becoming a real routine in it. It's very comfortable, no rushing around. I walk over the house and get moving, and here I am, and here you are, and here you come. This morning I'm thinking about, depending on the weather, I think it's going to be nice, but they're forecasting thunderstorms today. This is what's new for Florida. I'm thinking about going out for one of these neighborhood type walks with my walker and try to really start doing some more distance. I need to start walking more. It's for, the tiring part about walking for me is maintaining the balance. I saw another fella in a comment on my video yesterday said that he had a stroke a couple of years ago and it recovered pretty fast, but even still to this day, his balance is such that when he walks, he uses the analogy, he says, I feel like I'm drunk. And that hit home because it's kind of like that for me right now, and I hope it gets better. I hope it goes away. You're constantly, I don't want to say staggering around, but as evidence of my staggering around as I walk all over the place with no support, if you look at that humongous bruise on my arm right there, and the one that was right below it that is now finally faded out because it takes about a week. And if you look at the one on my arm over here, and the one on my elbow over there, you say, what the hell is wrong with your arms, Mitch? Door frames. The door stop on a door frame has kind of a sharp edge on it where it comes out. Well, in my swaying back and forth as I walk, I keep scraping my arm. And I don't know if it's the low dose aspirin that I take or whatever, but I bruise on my arms. My skin is very thin, very easily. And just when I think all those marks have gone away, I say, wow, that's good. I'm going to be more careful. Damn, if I don't kind of sway this way or sway that way as I'm heading through the doors, and bango. And I don't know if I've realized I've done it when I do it because it never really bleeds or anything like that. But sure enough, next day, big, dark, red blotch again. So for those of you who are wondering what terrible illness is causing all this, where is it? Here. All these big barks I seem to have crawling over my arms. That's just banging into door frames. Oh, life's a challenge. I don't have many people around, so nobody ever asks me about that. Good morning to everybody. Nikki W. was in here last night, first one in. Mike Seeley was in from Tampa. Smoothie John, how you doing? Rick chimed in last night. Lizzie chimed in at 9:41. Lady June and Mandy Beddoes from England. The middle of the night, but early morning for them. Patty's guard Patty chimed in, says, where is everybody? Well, it was 4:30 a.m., Patty. Everybody who isn't an insomniac was probably sleeping. I was up, though. I mean, I started waking up about 4:15 and just lay there and maybe nodded off a little bit, but I wasn't quite ready to get up at 4:15 and bang around the house for all that time waiting for 7 o'clock. Brian Dish was here early this morning, and I finally got my setup all done. Got my computer screen's laid out, got connected, get the lights ready, and the last thing I did before I started to head outside was to put my good morning message in, and that was at 5:47. Incredible long days, and I finally turned the lights off last night at about 9:45, so I did get a good night's sleep. Not bad. Wayne Herman at 6 o'clock this morning. Mike Seeley, Senior, same time. Thomas chimed in about 6:30, and Trucking Carnivore said, good morning, everyone from Texas. We have Karen Travis. Good morning from great old Missouri. Good old Missouri. Excuse me, I didn't mean to make Missouri any better than you claimed it to be. Good morning to you, Karen. How are you? And we have Chris Wayne from Australia from this evening. Peter took a break from Kelsey and stopped over here for a second to say good morning to everybody in the chat. Larry Ryan. Aaron. Good morning, Aaron. I wear black. Good morning, Misfits. Black Wednesday. And Thomas was the first to flee in this direction from Kiltsy Stream. So, hiya, Thomas. How are you doing this morning? Commented that sounds dark, Aaron. Bill Cook is here. Bill, good morning to you. 6:59. Sneaking up on it. Jeff Johnson, the name you know. I think everybody knows why I always say that. If anybody wonders, ask me. I'll re-explain it again. Jeff Streslak was here this morning. Good morning to you. 6:59 Smoothie. Robbie, Robbie, you jumped the gun this morning. Oh, so close again. You got a real competitor here. Photo finish, man. You got a competitor, Robbie. You got to be on your toes. And we're talking about the first to ring the bell at 7 o'clock. And this morning, my friends, I did it. I went and scrolled past it. How could I do that? I built up to that, the suspense to that. The winner is Lambs, Fries, and Shine Misfits Morning Mitch, and all from cold and autumnal Netherlands. Wow. Good afternoon, Lambs. The two of them, Lambs and Robbie Autry, fighting it out every day for the photo finish. I love it. I love it. I love to get into the spirit of that. It's amazing how silly things can sometimes catch on. Bill Cook came in again at 7. Brian Dish and Anthony. Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Don Shire. Good morning, Brenda McIntyre. Larry Mudbone. Hey to you too, Rick. Chimed in. Hiya, Rick. Good to see you this morning. Aunt B is here. Always a pleasure. Good to see you, Aunt B. Josephine C. We have the air conditioning man here, HVAC1. That's a building term, HVAC. Does anybody know what it means? I, of course, know what it means, being a licensed general contractor. HVAC means heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. And that's the term that's used in the building industry when any of those things, ductwork, and everything in the air handling realm, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. There. You never know what you're going to learn here at Morning Coffee with Mitch. And I said the magic words, so don't mind if I do. And we're discussing who ate. Somebody says, No fair. The Europeans are more awake than we are. Like maybe we have to handicap this. Maybe we need to give Lambs a handicap because of his more awakeness advantage. But that's fun. It's fun. I don't want to waste all day on it, but it's fun. Sue Middleton, good morning to you from Southern Oregon. And Donna Ray, Maine Runner, good morning to you. And Lori Weitzel's here. Hi, Lori. Good to see you made it in. Carnivore Whisperers here. Brian Dish, good morning to you. And who have I missed? Jerry Voitush. Hi, Jerry. How you doing from Ponte Vedra Beach? And Peter chimes in and says, how is everyone this fine Wednesday morning? Gina Cavs here. This is a new one I don't recognize. Carnivore Junkie. That's cool. I like that. I like that. Carnivore Junkie. Good morning, friends. Good morning to you and welcome. Bart Simpson is here. Hip bursitis versus carnivore diet. I don't understand what that means. Don't understand. Is that a question? It's got question marks in it. You want me to answer that? I have no idea, except that carnivore seems to minimize or eliminate most joint pain that's caused by inflammation. Maybe it helps. Can't help you. Don't know. Sister T, good morning from California. And I guess we're here 7:37 a.m. Peter is already conversing with people. Peter says, aren't you glad you decided to change the start time of your show to 7 a.m. so you can have more quality time to yourself? Oh, Peter, absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. From Newfoundland, we have Terry P. Good morning to you, Newfoundland. All over the world. Wow. Wow. Never ceases to amaze me. Yeah, John, you're exactly right. The bruising, as you get older, especially the skin on our extremities, just gets thinner. No doubt about it. That's why when you look at an older person's hands, you certainly see all the veins and things that you don't see in a young person who has all that collagen and fat and everything else. Our skin gets thinner. And the low-dose aspirin, which is a blood thinner, doesn't cause the bruising, but it certainly makes it more visible when we do. So we do bruise earlier, and that's why sometimes you see really old people that just look beat to shit. And I'm getting to be one of them. It is what it is. I'm consciously trying to be more careful. It's interesting. You never really know what your challenges in life are going to be until you're challenged. And like I said, I feel like I'm walking around drunk, even though I'm not. I had a funny thought this morning. It says, what would happen to me if I got pulled over in my car and maybe I was tired and maybe my speech was a little slurred, which it can do because of this stroke recovery. And maybe if this cop decided I might be drunk, and keep in mind, I have not imbibed a drop of alcohol in years and years and years, but the symptoms of stroke recovery can mimic the symptoms of being drunk. My reflexes in driving are certainly 100%. But if I was to get out of the car and the guy says, walk this line 1 foot under another, I'd fall on my ass. And who's to say that I might not end up in jail charged with driving under the influence, even though I'm perfectly fine. Our system can let things like that happen. And if this cop has a quota to meet that particular day, and demands a breathalyzer test and then lies about the results on his report or whatever, I might be railroaded. So, although might not be likely, these things can certainly happen, and I'm sure they've happened in the past. So, like when you carry a firearm in your car, you should tell the policeman, I have a firearm, just so you know. Don't shoot me. You might want to tell him, you may think I'm drunk, but I'm not. And I don't know if that'd be worse to say than not, but these are stupid little things that can happen in this society of ours. And generally because of the bad behavior of other people. Necessitated. Yeah, everybody's telling me it's the asthma. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm down to one as a concession to the eminent and brilliant doctors that treated me with the stroke. And the fact that they could not get together on their recommendations for aspirin. One doctor said, all you need is one little baby aspirin. Another doctor says, no, you'll have another stroke within 2 days. You need to be on a big aspirin. You need to be on blood thinners. You need to be on this. You need to be on that. As a concession to them, I split the difference, and for the first few months, I took 2 baby aspirins a day. I cut that back about a month ago to 1. I'm going to continue to take that for a little while. But it's been 6.5 months since I had the stroke. So that imminent second stroke is, I don't think, going to come. I hope not. I think about it every day, but I don't think it's going to come. And I would really like to cut out this baby aspirin bullshit altogether. I don't like taking any drugs. I don't mind some supplements, but I don't like the drugs. And B, so you're correct. You're correct. I do believe that causes the bruising, but it's not the direct cause of the bruising. The direct cause of the bruising is me staggering through door frames all day long, in and out of rooms, and swaying one way or the other. And when I feel like I'm going in that direction, the first natural thing you do is put out your arm as a defense mechanism, and my poor arm scrapes across that doorstop part of the door frame, and that bruises it. Doesn't break the skin, but it scrapes the skin, and that's where the bruises come from. Then the aspirin comes in and does its job. Okay, anybody got any questions for me today? Put QQQ in the chat. We'll try to get to it. I'll try not to go almost 2 hours today. I don't know how that happens, especially on the days when I really have not planned anything to talk about. I had a comment about YouTube. I saw things are about to get wilder and crazier on YouTube. YouTube has announced at their event the other day, they're adding 30 features for creators. Most of them are aimed at the shorts, which they're pushing the hell out of these shorts. I don't like them. I'm long. I like to slow down. Make people think about stuff, not just hook them directly up to the matrix and cram information into their head without them even knowing what's happening. I don't like that. But they are proud to announce that there are going to be 30 new tools over the next year available to content creators to use artificial intelligence to generate mass quantities of shorts, to do amazing things. Like I could upload a photograph of myself and their AI would actually turn it into a short video, animated and everything, of me talking in my own voice. They'll even generate a script. So basically, if I want to be a YouTuber, I just have to upload a picture of myself and tell YouTube, hey, go to town, man. Make me a star. And they'll do it. So we're going to start seeing the results of this. Maybe not tomorrow, but pretty soon we're going to be bombarded with absolute nonsense of no redeeming value whatsoever, designed to further connect us to the Matrix. Until we all get to the point where we're just like the prophecy that was that movie. We are all laying in a pod somewhere, hooked to tubes, and our entire life will be lived in our imagination, in a simulation. This trend cannot head anywhere else. It's scary. It could signal the end of YouTube as we've known it. The fine art of trying to make a video, film it, edit it, create a thumbnail, come up with a catchy title, and then fight YouTube's censoring and banning because they don't like what you're saying, is going to make it basically where good old Mitch finally gets to the point one day where he says, I've had enough. I've had enough of this. I wasn't happy to see that, but there's nothing we can do about it. Occasionally, YouTube makes a very meaningful change, like giving me the option of turning off those stupid rankings in the chat, which I'm taking advantage of, and I haven't heard anybody who basically has compelled me to turn it back on. I have to remember each time I create a video, however, to seek out and uncheck the box that allows that. I may miss that until I really get used to it. This is the second day in a row. So give me some questions. Give me some questions. I want to scroll through the chat here and see what's going on. Let me look at see what you guys are talking about now. We've got 118 people. Wow. Good morning, everybody. Again, drink it if you got it. That's why we're here. See, the conversation has turned to Sherry Morgan. I don't hear from Sherry anymore. Occasionally I get a video of hers in my feed, and I might take a look at it. Hey, Robert Kiltz. Kiltz is back on Coffee in order to hang out with Mitch. Kiltzy, my friend. How are you, man? Glad you're here. And I keep saying one morning, are you so busy? I don't dare ask that one morning. Just tell me whenever you think you might want to, and I'll send you a StreamYard link. You come in and join me here. It'd be great. I'm a lonely guy. I could use some company. I'm not surrounded by Alia and Nelson and all that. It's very entertaining, but I have settled into a routine now where I never miss your show. Kelsey says, my brother, I'm amazing. All is good. I'm hanging out in upstate New York. I love you so much, and I miss you too. Kelsey, the feeling is mutual, man. It's like having a brother that I never had. So I value that, and you know I'm behind you in all your efforts with great admiration. And I say that in what I hope is taken as a genuine way and not an ass smooching kind of way, because I'm not your friend. I don't admire you for the reason that so many wannabe YouTubers latch onto a bigger channel, and that is to boost their own fame. I've never had that in me to do. When I like somebody, it's genuine. And anything anything that I can ever do to help you in your efforts, because I think that's the way we have to go these days. The medical community in its entirety, in its collaboration and association and under the control of the huge pharmaceutical and food companies and the government is totally out of control and killing any chance the human race has to actually not go extinct within 5 or 10 generations. And that rate is increasing. Very, very sad. So, anything I can do, you let me know. I did one thing yesterday. I got an email from Alia that announcing your new Tuesday night Zoom call with Nelson, and an invitation to go to the calendar and to come in and be the guest. And I must have jumped on it right away because I went to the calendar and I took the first available opening, which was the first Tuesday in October. Now, I don't know if Nelson is going, oh shit, got to put up with him for an hour, but today I heard Alia say that was basically more for the coaching people, and I'm not one of them. So if let me know if I'm not the appropriate guest for Nelson's or one of his first Tuesday night. I'll sit down, no problem. You're not stuck with me. But I thought that I always love hanging out with you guys. So last time I came on your Monday call, I had to wait 3 months for that. That's how booked up you were. But it's always fun. It's always fun. At any time that I can get you guys, either you, Nelson, or Alia, on anything that I do, I'm happy to do it. Kilt says, I'll connect this week and tell everyone about my CT angiogram, my 40-year medical school reunion award. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. And I'm not even self-conscious or nervous. Superstar. Robert Kilt's in the house. Yes, sir. The man that's going to be with Ken Burry today. Imagine. Ken Burry doesn't come to me and ask me to be on with him. So, kudos for that. I like Ken. He's a good man. That's the first thing I look at when I look at people. Not are they famous, not even how smart are they, how realistic are they. I look at it from an angle of, is this a good person? Does this person have a good heart? Does this person have honorable motives? And I honestly never count the desire or the necessity to make a living against a person in the evaluation of their motives. Everybody's got to make money. I mean, we do live in this world. But is this a good person? Or is this person a user? And I don't want any part of them. So I do rank Ken Burry high up in my esteem. As I do most of the carnivore influencers on YouTube. I always love that word influencer because I sometimes wonder, do I really influence anybody? Oh, got a coffee this morning. Someone bought me 3 coffees, and it is Jeff Johnson, the name you know. Jeff Johnson here. I've been walking more lately and doing stretches at night. What else did you say, Jeff? I have to go look at the individual message. Yes. Also, because of our exercise routine, my wife fell down yesterday. Oh, no. Got back up with no injuries. Okay. Feeling pretty good at 72. Good luck on your walk today. Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you so much. And you know me. You know me. I am not going to miss the opportunity. I'm sorry, my friends. It may disappoint you, but I'm not going to miss the opportunity to post in the chat my Buy Me a Coffee link. a shameless plug and pin it up at the top. So thank you very much. And thank you, Jeff, for reminding me, or I probably would have forgotten all about it. Steve Rogers is here. Good morning, Steve. Superhero. Captain America, from Kansas City's in the house with us. Peter's reminding everybody to put QQQ in the chat. Where's the time gone? Where's the time gone? 7:35 already. Still talking about Sherry Morgan. Thomas says, I just looked, talking to George Goodenough, and Sherry's last video was 2 weeks ago, and Diaries was 4 weeks ago. Okay, yeah, Sherry's still around. She does her thing. Like I said, I haven't heard from her. She used to be a regular everywhere, but she dropped out of the private community, and she very rarely ever comes in. And I can't remember the last time I saw her in one of our live streams or chats. So our interests and our lives and everything else go off in different directions, and that's normal. That the differences between acquaintances, of which we all have many, and friends, if you really understand the definition of what a friend is, we all have many, many, many acquaintances, and they come and go. But if we're lucky, we manage to attract a few friends that stick with us, and we stick with them. You know, the old expression, you find out who your friends are when you have a problem. Well, I went through that. I found out that all of my so-called friends were my friends because I had a big boat, a big house, airplanes. And when that stuff went away, I was standing out there almost by myself going, anybody still want to know me? Or are you distancing yourself now? And that's what happens to you. And then you indeed find out who your friends really are. And that's when I found out that Kilts and Nelson were indeed not just acquaintances, they were friends. When I had my stroke, they were the only guys that paid any attention to me. And that tells you a lot. And of course, I would do the same. All of my real friends in life, the lifelong friends, I've outlived all of them. And that's kind of the sad thing about getting old, is losing the people in your life that are important to you. And pretty much all I have left now, besides the few friends that I consider that I have, Peter Drexler, Terry P. has a question about who's got the best channel on YouTube for fasting education. Wow. Terry, let me, I hate to miss questions. I'm going to scroll real fast down in the chat to make sure I haven't missed any questions. I got this question from Kiltsy. How's my friend Mitch doing today? I think I've answered that already. Thank you, Kilts. Nice to see you participating in the chat. There's another question from Martin Nerwinski. Hi, Martin. Give us a brief explanation of how you used AI to make your outline for your microbiome video the other day. I didn't use AI at all. I had no outline. That video was basically just me talking. I Googled. Oh, you're talking about the Google thing. Oh, I just went to Google. And Google, when you go to the Google search now, ask you want to make this an AI search or just a regular Google search? The AI search just summarizes it for you. So go to Google. I understand your question now. Go to Google. And I could have talked about that without that on the screen, but sometimes it's helpful to put something on the screen for people to read while you're talking, because it does it does lend validity to what you're saying, because now you're just reading what somebody else said, some expert, Dr. Google, an expert laughingly who tells you that in order to have the correct microbiome, you must eat the correct diet of mostly plant-based, low-fat, no meat, fruit and vegetables, legumes. That's why it's so important. And I'm thinking about Kelsey. I agree with him 100%. The only other guy on the internet besides me who says microbiome, are you crazy? You don't need the only time you need a microbiome is to ferment the crap that you shouldn't be eating in the first place. Don't eat the crap in the first place, and you can live without all those pesky little bacteria. The only ones that remain in the microbiome for a carnivore are those that help in the normal health and processing of the waste of an animal that's eating what it's supposed to eat. And it's not up to us to get involved and learn 1,000 different bacillus names and try to measure the various population densities of all these bugs and make the decision of which are normal. It's nonsense. Why do we, that's just one of my sore points, why do we keep trying to fix something that isn't broken? And it isn't broken. Our bodies know what to do. Feed them properly. That's the essence. If I said nothing else than that, that would be enough. But everybody's got to complicate things to the nth degree and measure it so they can be on top of it. Don't be on top of it. Be on top of the ribeye you're going to have later. I see some names going by for that question, Peter. There's so many people talk about fasting. I've got the first book, the first so-called expert that I listened to about fasting back in the day was Dave Asprey. He wrote this book, Fast This Way. And I read the whole book. What did I know? I wasn't eating carnivore yet. I was keto. And I heard people talking about fasting. It says here, burn fat, heal inflammation, and eat like the high-performing human you were meant to be. I've since learned that I think Dave Asprey is a little extreme, kind of like Andrew Huberman. A hyper-interferer in life in general. Has you on a schedule. You must get 12 and a half minutes of sunlight every morning in your eyes. You might, exactly as I tell you, you spend so much time barefoot in the grass. You must get a hot plunge and then a cold plunge, and you got to do this and that. And if you tried to follow these guys' advice, you need a friggin' personal manager with a schedule and a whip. On the other hand, you look at your cat or your dog, he just goes about his business. Nobody's telling him what to do. He doesn't even know what he's doing because he doesn't have a conscious mind. And he's healthier than you if he doesn't eat the crap that you feed him. So I learned real quick that it might be a great subject for YouTube videos, and it may be a great way to sell books. But it's driving us into an area that we have no business playing in, and that is the regulation of our physiology, something that has been chugging along pretty well, reacting to the evolutionary pressures since the beginning of time. And the winners, the ones that are best suited, will end up going forward and eventually became our recent ancestors who didn't think about fasting. They were thinking about how do I not have to fast? Because their lives were consumed with finding food, not finding ways to not eat all of that crap that's in front of them from morning till night, and following the dietary advice of the lunatics that have established the real problem that we have today. So I say things like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There are a couple of medical procedures I think are good. There are some things that can hit us, like colon cancer. We can get a colonoscopy. But on the other hand, how many of us would have needed or had colon cancer if we were eating the appropriate diet all along? So most of the crap they have us doing is to try to fix the shit we're breaking ourselves and the damage we're doing to ourselves. So as far as fasting goes, that's an individual thing, but Jason Fung has a lot of advice. Kelsey and Nelson, boy, these guys are becoming the fasting experts. I went off yesterday on that protein-sparing modified fast nonsense. Nonsense. Using the word fast to describe a dietary pattern. And trying to hammer the point home that the word fast means one thing: no food. So, I don't fast. I fast every day. I intermittent fast. Very rarely do I fast longer than that. Would I be more benefit if I did longer fast? Maybe not. I do. If I don't want to eat, I don't eat. I go with my instincts. But everybody's different, and everybody's got their own opinion. And hard bit for me to tell you who's really right. So I hope that answers that question. Peter says, Rockin' Keto, a Rockin' Coach. God, Amy, I'll never... Stop changing your names out there. I just get to the point where I remember your names and you change them on me. I'm old, remember. Give me a break. Anyway, Amy, Rockin' Coach Amy has a question. How far back was it, Peter? How far back was it? Sandy reminded me that a couple of weeks ago, I slipped up and answered a question for Mitch. You're forgiven. You're forgiven, Peter. Where's the question from Amy? Terry P. question. What is the best channel for fasting? I got that one already. What else did I miss? God. Martin asked you a question earlier. Okay, Peter. When you remind me of a question, you might cut and paste the question in your comments so I will know what the question was and won't have to go back searching for it. That's what happens when I have to bounce around. Interestingly enough, if I just go through the older chat, I'm behind. But eventually, I do get up to all the questions. And I don't know if it's any better for me to try to jump on them right away or just go through the chat the way I usually do. And basically, when I see you remind me there's a question, I'll know to look out for it, but basically say, thank you, Peter. I'll get to it shortly. I think maybe trying to go back, unless the question like the last one was right there. It might be better to me just to do it the way I do it. Kilt says, I'm a lonely guy too. I'm hanging out in the hot tub. Yeah. There are some of us that actually are not lonely. We actually almost like our own company better than most of the human race. Kilt, you'd be happy to know that you have Trucking Carnivore's blessings. Who says drink it if you got it? So let me look for these questions. I'm going to find them because I like answering questions. Because questions prompt rants, and you all know how I like to rant about stuff. Let's see, QQQs, where are they? Where are they? I'm at 7:36, so I'm only about 20 minutes behind. Okay. Okay, there's Terry P's question again on. We got that one. Got that one multiple times now. Lori said Martin Derwinski. Didn't I answer a question from Martin Derwinski earlier about sciatica or bursitis? Yeah, I found that one. Okay, I already talked about that. It's not an area of my expertise. All I can say is that arthritis, bursitis, all the itises seem to do well on carnivore. Most likely, not being a doctor, but most likely because of the effect that carnivore has on just reducing systemic inflammation. Sandy reminded me that a couple weeks ago, I said, okay, got that one, QQQ there. I think I got that question. Here's one, what's this? Amy, question. I know you are not a doctor, but I've been keto carnivore for 8 years, and I still get leg cramps. I take electrolytes and extra magnesium. You know, if anyone else still having this issue or cause. Interestingly enough, I take electrolytes, and I don't take a lot of extra magnesium, but I take a little bit. And since my stroke, I might, but not always, if I wake up in the middle of the night, have a leg cramp. I don't know whether the reason for it is related to the stroke recovery. It's only in my legs and in my calf. That's where it is, in my calf muscle, which is, I think, from my own experience, the most common leg muscle. Maybe Kilt's nose. That would be a good question for a doctor. Not me, but yeah, it happens. So I have to remake my electrolyte mix. I'm about out of it again. I maybe have 1 or 2 servings left. So today or tomorrow, I'm going to mix up a batch. This time, with the leg cramps in mind, instead of magnesium citrate, which I included because of the laxative effect of magnesium citrate or citrate, however you like to say it. I don't think I need any extra help in that department. My digestive tract is working perfectly with no fiber. And I think maybe a little kick from that magnesium, but not a problem. Not a problem. Evidently, I've got my fat balance, eating enough fat. So, because I, all my life, tended towards constipation. But I'm going to mix up the electrolyte mix this time with magnesium glycinate instead of magnesium citrate and see if that makes a difference. I still have some 125 milligram capsules, magnesium citrate capsules, that I may add to that if I see that I need it. If the leg cramps don't go away because of the change of magnesium. Again, that's an area that I don't want to claim to be an expert in. I'm not. But it's a great question. Magnesium is generally the answer for leg cramps, but there may be circulation problems. There may be so many other things. Problem is you can Google it, but half the time you'll just get propaganda and nonsense, as I showed with when I Googled that microbiome thing. What I got back was just a summary, an AI summary of all the misinformation and marketing hype out there about why it's so important that your microbiome be just what you always dreamt it would be. Jojo, no question marks, but I saw a question. Have you ever had a CAT scan? Just curious. No, never had one. Don't ever want to have one. I've been through that. I've talked at length about the psychology of giving yourself things to agonize over and worry about, which will ruin the quality of your life, at least me. It's better sometimes just to not know. And if you have no symptoms, no chest pains, no reason to think that your arteries are blocked up, you have plenty of energy, you don't have symptoms of heart failure, you don't have wildly swollen ankles and edema and fluid retention, everything seems to be working fine. Why do you want to scare the shit out of yourself? There's no way at my age, after the crap that I ate in my lifetime, that I might have 0 calcium score. I don't want to know. I don't think Kelsey wants to know either, but there's so much pressure on us from the carnivore community to get these tests so that they can use us. See, I told you. I'm not falling for it. I'm even thinking about canceling my VA physical this year. I just had enough physical examinations because of this stroke 6 months ago that I don't think I need to go to a routine physical this year. I don't think I need any more blood tests. I already know my cholesterol is high. Everything else is pretty good. I think the high cholesterol is actually a good thing. There's a reason why it's high. Ancient knowledge and survival tactics that have forged my genetics over hundreds of thousands of years are at work, and they're the ones that are deciding what my LDL should be. And we are not qualified to think we can outsmart that because of Ansel Keys and his crap. So, I can't recommend this to you. I can't say. I can say that my mouse just crapped out. So we get the other mouse here, and if you give me 1 second to fix it so it works. Let's see here. We need this and that. Okay, back in business again. Okay. I can't tell you what to do. But my advice is, if there's, learn the symptoms, the early symptoms of heart disease, learn the early symptoms of clogged arteries, learn the early symptoms of some of the major things that could be wrong with you. If your ankles puff up so bad every day, but they seem to be all right in the morning, that's an indication of heart failure. There's so many, those things might warrant, and I don't say that you should just avoid doctors at all costs. The hardest thing today is to find a doctor that isn't brainwashed, that is going to push you in the middle. It's just going to take whatever conditions you have and drug them up and make them worse. Who still recommends that ludicrous diet of no meat, no fat, no salt, lots of plants and fruits and vegetables and legumes and oxalate containing poison, and hell, while you're at it, make smoothies out of them. You'll get 10 times as much poison that way. So that's just me. And when I come on here, I don't claim to be a doctor or the be-all, end-all of knowledge, but I will tell you, I do have common sense and maybe the most logical mind you've ever met. That is not a blessing, my friends. That is absolutely a curse. My bullshit detector is always on 100 and going off. And I think that's just maybe what brings some benefit to my observations and my opinions. Is Nelson here? Dr. Nelson, hi. Nelson, holy mackerel, what? I didn't see you in there. Yes, he is. Nelson Vasquez, M.D. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. Nelson and Kiss. Where's all of you? I come to visit you every morning. It's only fair. Jerry says sunnies today. No lunch with my son today, Jerry. But hi, Nelson. How you doing? Here's the question about the CAC score. I've been there. No, I don't know my CAC score. I don't want to know. I don't care. Interesting thing about a CAC score is what I do know about it. Sometimes, why do you think your body calcifies the plaque in your arteries when you finally do have all the inflammation that causes all the so-called repair work to be done inside your arteries? And it's not inside your arteries, it's basically underneath the epithelial wall inside your arteries. It's in the muscle. Is where the plaque is. It doesn't fill up your artery and block it that way. It basically pushes the artery walls tighter and tighter and tighter from behind. And that's because the small damaged LDL supposedly, and again, none of us are standing there watching this happen. We can only postulate as to the mechanisms at play. These small damaged LDLs are small enough to get through the epithelial layer and get under the skin, so to speak, and do their damage because of the inflammation. The LDL, which is the vehicle carrying the cholesterol, is sent to that site because there's an injury and inflammation. And it's there to help fix things. So it makes the plaque. But soft plaque can be dangerous, and it can break off and cause a clot somewhere else. It can cause an embolism in a lung, cause a stroke if it gets through the blood-brain barrier. Now, don't forget, my stroke happened right where I had this piece of my skull removed. Perhaps they didn't. My blood-brain barrier in that area was completely sealed up. Maybe that's how the clot got in. We all throw clots now and then. I think that my previous head injury and surgery was more responsible for my stroke than anything in my diet or my cholesterol level. I also think that it's more likely that the vax, the jab, and the increase in blood clots caused by that is more likely to have caused my stroke. All of it. The fact that I had to have brain surgery because the medical community screwed up big time with me when I hurt my head. They screwed up in treating my stroke. They were so focused on my high LDL level. That's all they focused on. And their priority was getting me on massive doses of statins right away. And that had, I'm convinced, nothing to do with my stroke. Their guesses were wrong. And their ignorance, I think, contributed to the problem. I have stories about when I did injure my head a few years ago, how they screwed up, and with me ending up having to have surgery, and my head opened up when I should not have had that because of their call malpractice. But it wasn't anything any attorney would take the case because it would be too hard to prove, and it just wasn't as simple as a car accident. And that's all they're interested in right now. Something that It's so obvious. They don't have to, because attorneys can't spend the kind of money it would take to, and I knew that. My son kept pushing me, and I kept saying, yeah, if you can find an attorney, go ahead, but you won't find one. Oh, I'll find one. Well, he never found one. I already knew it was a loser case for an attorney, even though I was right. Being right in a courtroom doesn't count for much. What you can sell to a jury and the fear of it being sold to the jury by the opposing attorneys is what matters. And anyway. So, not got to go down that road any much further, but no, I think we started talking about it. I don't want to know these things unless I think there's something wrong. And if I think there's something wrong, I will do everything to try to figure out what it is, if it's something I can fix. But what's wrong? And this is an interesting point that I want to make about the psychology of doing what we're trying to do and self-direct our own medical care. Excuse me a second. Perils of sipping coffee. Sometimes you try to breathe it instead of drink it. We keep talking about self-directing our own medical care, about being our own doctor. Well, none of us can learn enough. The first thing we got to learn is what all the other doctors are getting wrong. That's a college degree in itself. Then you got to learn real medicine, real physiology, real biology, real cellular mechanics, which is a medical education. So none of us really can learn enough to definitively self-direct our own medical care. My answer to it is better to learn preventive maintenance than corrective maintenance. How are you going to be better off? Figuring out the most likely lifestyle where you will stay healthy, or fighting the fires that pop up because your lifestyle is unhealthy. Well, it seems obvious to me, and I've discovered after a lifetime finally that it's simple. Eat an appropriate diet for human animals. And that's what I'm doing. Now, if you strayed from that path for years and years, like most of us have, we have damaged our bodies. Do we turn ourselves over to the medical community to try to fix clogged arteries, things like that happen because we were eating a shit diet? To fix things that are basically unfixable because the damage is done. Can you smash up your car? Is there any way you can unsmash it after that? Or would it have been better for you to learn how to drive first? And watch out for all the other idiots out there that are texting and want to run into you. Preventive maintenance. If a doctor were to tell me you have clogged arteries, Mitch, you need a 5-way bypass, I would say, does that explain these crippling chest pains I'm having? But I'm not having any chest pains. Well, if I'm not having the symptoms of needing a 5-way bypass, why are you recommending one? Because some calcium score says I need one? No. I'll be back. If I start to have chest pains, I'll come back and see you, and we'll try to get to the bottom of it. But for right now, I'm living, and I'm not going to live forever. Leave me alone. Because if I have to start worrying about the fact that that widowmaker thing you talk about might I might keel over dead tomorrow. What's the quality of my life going to be like? Expecting that every minute of every day. So I don't do that stuff. I don't want CAT scans. I don't want tests. I want to know, unless I have something telling me something wrong, Mitch. You need to look out for that. There's nothing I could have done that would have precluded me having the stroke I had, because they can't even tell me. They can't even tell me why. What caused the stroke? They can only guess. And their guesses always blame it on those things that they think are not correct with my numbers, which I'm convinced are actually correct, because I'm healthier than all those people with the low cholesterol, pushing towards zero. I have a testosterone of 929 in a sea of men who have erectile dysfunction and testosterone's in the 200 to 300 range. Why? I'm 78 years old. Because I have enough cholesterol to make testosterone. And I have no erectile dysfunction. So why would I try to fix something that isn't broken? Could make a joke here about erectile dysfunction and say, I'm plagued by my lack of erectile dysfunction. As a 70-year-old man living alone who still feels like he's 30 inside and likes to look at women. That's not an indication of being sick and feeble and dying. It's an indication of pretty good health. Circulatory health, too. If my circulatory system is so bad, how come all my junk still works? See, you have to have common sense. You have to say, well, this jives or this doesn't jive. It doesn't make sense. And none of what I hear from these doctors makes any sense whatsoever. And that includes Dr. Google. So there's another explanation of why I don't want to know or give myself things to worry about that turned out, like most of the things we worry about, a non-issue that all we did was punish ourselves by worrying about them. At any rate, I'm sort of getting further behind her. Thomas says, I get leg and hip pain, and that is made worse when I sleep on my amputated foot. I know, Thomas. It's got to be rough. Got to be rough. Peter says, Amy, maybe I'd be drinking enough water. Yeah, hydration. But there's a simple, natural, built-in indicator that we have of whether you're hydrated enough. Look at your pee. I know that constantly looking in the toilet for clues is disgusting, but that's where the clues are, on both ends. If your pee is dark as hell, dark yellow, almost brown, you are not getting enough water, the liquids. If you pee like gin clear, crystal clear, not even a tinge of yellow in it, you're drinking too much water. You're overhydrated. That's not really too much of a problem, I don't think, but when your pee gets to be like yellow-brown syrup, you either have kidney failure or you're just not nearly hydrating enough, and it's time to maybe take a look. That's when you may want a urinalysis. Another thing is if you're a man, and every time you pee, it looks like somebody just poured a beer, and it's got a head on it, of bubbles. That's also some indicating too much protein in your urine, and it may be that you're at certain kidney failure stage. That's when you need to get tests. Some of these tests can be misleading, especially urinalysis or blood tests, EGFR, estimated glomerular filtration rate, is based on the levels of creatinine in your blood. Well, the carnivore diet jacks up the levels of creatinine in your blood and makes urologists think you're in stage 2 or 3 kidney failure when you're perfectly normal and healthy. So you got to know that. Another reason to stay away from the doctors. They will scare you with things because their lack of knowledge. And you're not normal. Normal to them is sick. That's the key. You got to remember that. To a doctor, if you're not sick, you're abnormal. Normal is a diabetic these days with blocked arteries, arthritis everywhere, early onset dementia. That's normal. Normal is defined as the average of most people, and most people today are poisoning themselves. So here we come. We're abnormal. We're not normal. Our blood test ranges don't fall within the ranges of all those sick people. And the doctors interpret. And that EGFR is a great example of it. I was diagnosed when I went to a urologist. I had a kidney stone, which again was a result of too many oxalates following too much of their dietary advice, plagued me with kidney stones. This quack urologist that I went to, who hooked up with me in the hospital when I went in there for the kidney stone, not too long ago, before my stroke. He didn't like me because I went there because they told me to see him within so many days after I left the hospital. Well, I tried, but I couldn't get in to see him because he was too busy for a month and a half. I was supposed to see him within 7 days. I went in and see him. I wasn't happy with this guy anyway. Fill out all the stupid forms in his office, put up with his snotty, holier-than-thou office staff, all of them unhealthy and fat. Sit there across from this guy with this huge belly, giving me a lecture on why wouldn't you let my nurse take your blood pressure? I said, I'm not here for that, Doc. I'm here because I'm just following the directions and I'm supposed to see you afterwards. I know more than this guy already. And to get even with me, because I said, Doc, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. I passed the stone finally. Don't need you. I just wanted to maybe have you as a reserve if I liked you. I came here to interview you. I said to him, well, tell a doctor that. Oh, man. So he didn't like me. So he takes out a wad of papers from my hospital tests, thumbs through him with this arrogant, holier-than-thou attitude and says, well, you may think you're all right, but you're in stage 2 kidney failure according to your EGFR. I'm not in stage 2 kidney failure. That's criminal that he told me that. It's criminal that he even never asked me what my diet was. Never looked at the other numbers, like my creatinine level in my blood. Didn't know that people on a carnivore diet, their cholesterol does go up. They're not even cholesterol. Their LDL does go up. They're transporting tons of fat through their body. Of course their LDL is going to go up. How else is that fuel going to get to the cells? They're not living on sugar like you are, you fat. Take care of yourself, Doc. Your kidneys are probably in stage 2. I was incensed and walked out. I'll never go back to see that guy. If he ever comes and sees me in the hospital, again, without me asking for him, and I'm not that sick that I can't get up and run away, I will get up and run away. These people are killing us. You can hear that in my frustration every time I have to deal with all but those members of the medical community who are in our community. The good people and doctors here who understand these things. And in spite the risks of their licenses and everything else, try to help people really, not just suck them into the system. That's a long answer. Took up a lot of time. But these are important things, I think, that we need to think about and not just let these doctors scare us. I thought it was unconscionable that this guy just wanted to strike back at me because I didn't give him the respect that he thought he deserved. Just exactly how much respect does a doctor deserve that is poisoning you for his own profit? Guy deserves to be in jail, so I'm concerned, not respected. But they're egomaniacs, every friggin' one of them, except for us. Kelsey and Nelson. So Peter says he tried to copy Amy's question and it got deleted. Wow. Why did YouTube do that? I don't get it. Thomas's question about hip pain. I got to get through this. If you tuned in for rants, I don't think I disappointed you today. These are the things I think that need to be said and they need to be ranted about. What was her name? Michaels. That exercise bro that used to yell, "Stop the insanity." True. Loretta says, Mitch, what were your live streams when you were a kid? Do they align with what you are doing now? No, not at all. Not at all. No child. No child. I don't care who you are. This is one of the problems. One of the problems that we have, I think, in society, Loretta. You put too much pressure on children and we give them too much credit for actually having the machinery and the computing power to do any critical thinking or reasoning. A child is no more qualified to consider what the rest of his life is than until he's 25 years old. I think we shouldn't even decide what we want to be when we grow up until we're 25 years old. I know it's almost impossible in this world because you have to be out of college already at 25. But that's why so many people have no idea. And when I was a kid, I was like every other kid. I just wanted to be anything. I wanted to be a fireman. I wanted to be a policeman. I wanted to be an electrical engineer. That's what I wanted to be. I don't know why. Yeah, I just thought it sounded cool. I wanted to be a doctor. You can't know. You have no experience. You can't make this life-altering decisions without being exposed to the world and the realities of the world. So all you really know, and so many little kids just want to be what their daddy is or their grandfather. They just don't know. So I don't think I look back at when I was a kid at any life aspirations I had as just childish nonsense. And funny you should ask, because I've had 10 different careers in my life. And, lots of careers. Pilot, flight instructor, contractor, swimming pool builder, luxury home builder, computer company owner, restaurant owner. And I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. So, trying to choose a career is a very tough thing. Very tough thing. But that really answers that. Mama Bear says, I read where too much sodium can deplete magnesium. Well, I think there's an interrelationship in all that stuff. I still think that trying to micromanage the ratios of this to that to the other thing would require a full-time accountant. I think eat the foods, and most of that shit comes with it. And eat the right food. And if you have to supplement anything, try to keep it as simple and minimal as you can. None of us are equipped to manage something as complex as the hundreds of thousands of chemical reactions that occur in our body every second. None of us can keep up with that. The amount of computing power necessary. Our conscious minds don't have access to that. We overcomplicate everything most of the time because that makes us buy something that makes somebody money. We got the idea from their marketing hype and propaganda. And that's what's driving the world. And we're just the sheep, moving this way and that way. And the dogs tell us which way to turn. Oh, critical thinking. Let's see here. Got some coffees. Wow, look at that. I'll make sure I thank you guys. We have Mike Seeley bought me 5 coffees. Wow, Mike, thank you so much. Father of United Carnivore, thanks for your help. Great videos. Hope to see you soon. Yeah, Mike, we need to get Mike is a neighbor of mine pretty much. We need to get together for lunch. And Steve Rogers said, Captain America says, 3 coffees bought me. Thanks for continuing to share your knowledge. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated. Well, here I am in an hour and a half again. It happened. And I'm 20 minutes behind in the chat. I mean, hurry up. Try to find some other questions. This is not enough time in the day to do this. I can't imagine what would happen if I had 200 people in here every day. Wow. Robbie Autry, how is the leucine working for you? I think it's a great supplement. Well, I keep doing this. I keep showing you my a little bicep that's coming back. And I think it's working fine. I get a little more energy. I'm with Kiltsy, though. Man, I'll tell you, I have become a real advocate of the nap. I never took a nap in my life. When I was a kid, they couldn't get me to take a nap. But after the stroke, I get to the point where I can feel that I'm running out of energy. And I still fought this nap stuff. And it happens to me right after I eat my first meal of the day or my only meal of the day. I feel it. And I think, with the lion analogy, that's what these big cats do. They eat a big meal and then they go to sleep. I start saying to myself, maybe you should. And at first I started to do it. I actually went into my bedroom. Because previously I just lay down on the couch for a few minutes, No, I started to make it an actual 4-moment nap. I went into my bedroom, took my shoes off, took my cell phone out of my pocket, and lay down on the bed. And damn, if I didn't fall asleep, and about a half hour later, 3/4 of an hour, and boy, you talk about lucid dreams. It seems that I have lucid dreams when I nap now in the afternoon, and I'll nap for a half an hour to an hour. And I'll wake up and I'll feel like $1,000,000 again. And continue on through the rest of the day. So thank you, Kiltsy, for letting me know that it's okay for me to nap. Because I always thought that was a sign of ill health, needing to sleep during the day. Evidently, I think they're right. It's a very natural thing for a human being to do. The only thing I don't agree with you, Kiltsy, on, if you're still here, although I doubt you are, is the eating your 1 meal a day late at night. I cannot eat and go to bed on a full stomach. That's just me. Jojo says, you take baby? Yes, I take 1 baby aspirin now. That's it. And after a few more months of no recurring strokes, I will probably gain the confidence to say, okay, don't need that anymore. But see, we do get to the questions eventually this way. Rick says Mitch is more of a man than me with that sex drive. Well, it's hard to say, Rick. There are people who have a higher. I've always had a very high sex drive. Got me in a lot of trouble in my life, and I still have it. It just won't go away. Sometimes I say, leave me alone, for God's sakes, because we men do some stupid things pursuing that. Because, hence the expression, thinking with your little head instead of your big head. But everybody's a little different. Everybody's a little different. It's all hormones. Peter's testosterone is 650. Libido is high. Yes, Peter. I can tell you that may be a Jewish thing too, because it's just something about I won't say it. It'll probably offend somebody. Yeah, Michael Prager, you got that right. Before Carnivore 250, they wanted to put you on TRT. After Carnivore 750, wait till next year. It'll probably be 1,000. It took a couple of years for mine to get up there. My testosterone, the first year I checked it was 6 something. And then the next year I checked it, a year later, was 929. That was last year. Thomas thinks this is about, but it's true. It's true. It is the precursor of so many hormones, especially the sex hormones. So what we're doing with statins, when you look at it, is basically chemically castrating men. We're also doing that with the diet. That was the purpose of the diet of cornflakes back in the day of Kellogg's Sanitarium, was to chemically castrate men, to take their sex drive away so they could conform to the moral bullshit of their church and keep men from sinning. So procreation outside of marriage was a sin. Do you chain your dog and cat up at night so they can't possibly go out and procreate? That would be cruel, wouldn't it? And that's what they did to men. They're still doing it to men. Thank you, feminists like Ellen G. White, for screwing up the whole world and all the people in it. Because you are personal friends with God. The lunacy of all of that is mind-boggling, and yet it's our reality. I'm falling into the trap. I keep reading and reading, but I'm catching up. We're now at an hour and a half today. Why does this always go so long? All right, we're going to get through it. We're going to get to the end. I think I answered most of the questions. Stop asking questions now. There's tomorrow. I did it. And Amy is the last one in the chat. So my friends, overtime again, but not too bad. Still early. I still want to go for a walk. So, Rick, you never got married, Rick? It is what it is, buddy. Never, one of these days, maybe. There's if you're happy with your life, be happy. You'd probably be better off than a lot of us that have been so frustrated by our sex drives. Anyway, a little happy music to end the day on. Thanks so much for coming, everybody. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Kelsey and Nelson for showing up here. That's great. Hope we did get to the questions. I got to rant. I feel good. I'm going to go for a walk. Not going to film it. Not going to make a video today. I'm tired of making videos that nobody watches. When I got something that I think is really important to say, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm more than likely, unless it involves the kitchen and cooking, I'm probably going to just rely on these live streams. So many people will not hear some of the things I get to say on these live streams. I think the answer might be if something really prolific happens here, or really, but I think it's important to make a clip, make it 4 or 5 minute video about it, standalone, but just use the clip from the live stream. So I don't have to try to redo a speech that came off so nicely when I wasn't thinking about it and just talking. Some people think that's lazy. It may be the only way to get people to see that. Because anything I've said on this live stream, if a couple hundred people actually get to see it, it'll be a lot, because live streams are long. Nobody watches them all. Come and go all the time. And most people miss most of what I say on these live streams. So we'll see. I keep thinking about how to do it. And I'm happy with the way it's going right now. So thank you, everybody. Bought me a coffee. Appreciate it. Lori Weisel says, I got tired of making videos a long time ago. Yes, it is a lot of work. And usually you end up with YouTube, especially with the way that they throttle our message down as being dangerous. It's so futile and so disappointing. It's almost, the response you get is almost an insult. And I'm trying to be excited and enthusiastic about my efforts here on YouTube. And it's only the live streams that seem to feed that in me. So goodbye, everybody. Everybody's saying goodbye. I will be back tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, and tomorrow evening for the private community live stream. But until then, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.